Hello and welcome back to my Blender tutorial series. This is right where we left off. I haven't really done much because I want to just share my whole modeling experience with us. So in this episode we're going to be working on the basic, adding your basic details like doors, windows, and all that stuff. So I think the first thing we're going to do, I'm actually going to work my way from the back because there's a lot of stuff back here, and so I just need to find some good reference photos for that. So give me a second. Probably should have done this before I start recording, but pull up my diagrams as well. But I just want to compare my diagrams to what's on the actual thing. I'm pretty sure that should be one of those things that's, the same on all of them, but I've thought the same thing for like a lot of things, but it ends up being wrong. So we're just gonna look at this, and I was right. So these windows are different. You can see how that's a whole window. There's actually those on the one I'm making. It is actually one or two windows split in half. So that shouldn't be too hard. It's same width and everything. I'll just have to split it in half and stuff. And yep. So we're gonna start working on that. I don't know if you can hear my dog. It's going crazy. Sorry about that. I can't really do anything about it. But first thing I want to point out, if you're gonna try and animate your doors or make them open and close, you can still do it even if you're not going to, but you could always just texture them on if you're, not planning on animating it, or you can actually model your door. What I'm gonna do, since I don't know if I'm going to, I may or may not, but I'm just gonna model the door just in case. So we're just gonna, and remember this, what we're gonna do is what we did to make the roof. We're gonna use our bool tool and cut out a little place inside there. So essentially we're just going to model the door. We're going to make a duplicate so we can fit the door that's the perfect shape and just put that in there. But we're also going to have to make a door frame. So we're going to have one that's going to be the actual door and one that's just going to be the door frame. So just going to add that in. That's already centered, so I'm just going to get face select and drag that up. Make this a little bit wider. Then we're gonna has rounded edges, so get our edge select, bevel, or you can just do Control B. So then do that, Control B, and then just do that, and then scroll up. I'm gonna just about right there. It's not that bad, much of a bevel, and then I'll shade smooth and add our edge split modifier, which, since we're just cutting, it shouldn't really matter, but there. It still looks a little weird, but I think it'll be fine once we actually cut it. And that's also, yeah, it's just because we're in this mode. But also, another thing I can't remember if I actually pointed out before, but I remember someone asking me how I went into this, excuse me, which is wireframe mode, and if you just do Shift-C, it just pulls that up, which is very helpful sometimes. So now what we can do here is I'm just going to create a duplicate by doing Shift-D. To clarify, I said Shift-Z to wireframe, not Shift-D, and then Shift-D is to duplicate, so we're just going to drag that back for now. And then at this, since we're going to be making an interior as well, we're just going to put that in there. That's pretty deep, so we have enough room to actually cut in the inside and stuff. So then just make sure you have what you want to cut with selected for the door. Let me just take one more peek at my reference photos before I do anything else. And sorry, okay, so now we're gonna, once you have that selected, select where you want to cut, which in this case is the locomotive, and then we're gonna do Control minus, and that's not working right now. Actually, there's something else I want to do first. Anyways, so okay, never mind, take that back. Sorry. So anyways, this is what I was talking about before. So if we go into edit mode for the locomotive, we can see how, because I remember I said earlier, or last episode, that when you're cutting something there has to be like two edges, and that could be a reason why it's not working. Sometimes it just doesn't like to work. But alright, so we can't, okay, Blender just crashed, give me a second. That's one thing that always bugs me whenever I try and do Shift Z or Control Z or Control Shift Z. That generally is when my game crashes. So one thing you could do, let me just, yeah, okay, it's already there. One thing you can do is if you go File, Recover, Autosave, just pull up, I do date modified, so it's like the last thing, so I don't have to just scroll, and you can see there's our door. So I'm just going to drag that back for now, since we're going to do something else. And actually, since we only have just that, what we're going to do is use this and do a knife project instead. I'm actually going to duplicate that, and I'm going to hide one of them. And now we just have this. And for the knife project, what you have to do is, what you have to do is, I'm just going to select all these faces except for the one I'm actually going to, like, basically what it does is it cuts it, but it doesn't cut, you don't cut into it, you just cut, like, you'll see in a minute, but, so basically we're just going to delete these, and then it has to be, it can't use a face, it has to be a edge. So if we just click X, only faces, now we just have the edges, because we just deleted faces. And so now if we hold Shift, go into that, and then press Tab to go into edit mode, we can go to Mesh, Knife Project, and you can see how it does that. Which you can see, that's what I was talking about, two edges have to connect, and that's kind of annoying because, you know, sometimes it glitches out when it's not actually, when it's all sideways and jank like that. So we're gonna, one thing we could try and do is use this, which is just a knife tool. I only use it when I have to, but see that? Okay, straight line. I held Control, so it'd be just a straight line. Now if you press Enter, there's your line. So now we can, if we go back into this view, go to Mesh, Knife Project, you can see that that's much more clean now. So, looking at my reference photos, yeah, and now what we can do is, if we go into side view, press E and just hold Control so it snaps and just drag it in. So now that's our door frame, basically. Now, if you remember, we actually had we can delete this now since we're done with that. If we show our normal door, you can see it fits in perfectly. And now we actually just need to make the door itself. So what we can do is if we just grab all this, make it thinner, because, you know, door's not that thick, so it's about right there should be good. And then if we're going to cut out the windows now, so let me find some really good pictures, because I also want to model the door handles and stuff. That thing is, it's a pretty dark paint, so it's kind of hard to see from far away. So, alright, I think I got some pretty good pictures here. I know you can't see them, but like I said, one place I got a great picture. So one place I always like to go for reference photos is Railroad Picture Archives.net. They have some really nice pictures of, just like, if you just look up a locomotive generally, it's just a collection of pictures of, you know, you can just search up whatever locomotive you need. So, looking at it, yeah, there's just a window that we have on the diagram. Yeah, it's the exact window that's on. Wrong diagram. That, yeah, okay, so if we just go into object mode, because remember, we're going to cut out a window. So we go to, okay, this is actually tricky because if we cut, because normally I like adding the, there's like a little outline that like seals the glass in or something. I don't like adding that, but if we cut all the way through, since we're not doing it the way I normally do it, then alright, I think there's a way I can do it. This is probably not going to be the best way. In fact, I know it's not the best way. I'm sure there's a better way. Just I don't know what that better way is, so we're just going to have to stick with what I know. So, if any of you guys know a better way, just let me know in the comments section. I'll use that from now on. But so we got that, and then, you know, this window has some bevels, so we're just gonna do that. Select all the edges, Control B, and just drag that in a little bit. Again, and since we have all the faces, grab one face, because you have to do that to shade smooth, and then shade smooth. And then add our edge split modifier. then just move this back a little bit. Hold shift, select our door, control minus, and you can see that is cut. And don't really worry about that shading right now, because that just happens when your bool cut is still not applied yet. Excuse me. So what we're gonna do for that little lip on the window is, if we apply that, you can see it went away, so that's good. If we go back to our door, I've done this before, it's not the best way, it's kind of annoying to do, but if we do Control B, just barely move it so it's, and then make sure you're only cutting once, just barely move it just so it knows that you're actually doing it. So then if we go to here, get this, and then if we make that back to where it, sorry, it's yeah, not very way, but if we go back here, because you can see how it's kind of like off-centered because we beveled it, which makes sense, it's what it's supposed to do, but that also gives us an extra face, which is what we need. So if we can press S, let me try that, because what we're basically doing is we're going to drag this back out, and then we're just going to we're going to do this, make it actually even, and then if we just select all these edges, we're just going to, all these, we can just extrude those out and make the little thing that we want. So yeah, I just want to make sure I had everything, so we're gonna do that. Control B just a little bit. So I wonder if I can just make sure we have everything selected and just scale that out a little bit, however big we want our lip to be. So do that, then we just select that whole little inside piece, and then if we go over here, this is probably a very inefficient way of doing things, but just go in there and just drag it in. Just zoom in all the way, and yeah, so you can see. I'm sure there's a better way, I just don't know it. So now if we go into here, and I think if you hold Alt normally, you can just select the whole ring around it, but these, I don't know why you can't do that with these. So just have to manually select these, and like I said before, there's probably a better way of doing it, but anyway, so now deselect that, and then just press E, extrude it just a little bit, and there's your door. And let me look back at my reference photos. I feel like I think either the door's too thick or the window's too thick, so that's an easy fix. Actually, I think that let me just select this whole window thing. But I think that I'm just experimenting things here, because it looks like the what's it called, the window on the width is a little bit skinnier, so if we just bring that down, yeah, you can see it's actually kind of even now. Just now if we just scale that up, it's better, but now it's I feel like that it's a little bit okay, that should work. Just gonna drag it down a little bit more, and that should, yep, I'm happy with that. Yeah, okay, wait. I'm not really worrying about the, you know what? I hate that now because it's, okay, if we just make that, you know what? It's whatever. That's gonna bug me forever now, but actually what I'm gonna try and do, this is my last attempt, but if I select these, oops, drag those out and just try and get it the same, and just see, I'm just manually selecting these and getting it to look decent. I'm gonna have to do this on the bottom too, so that should do it, this last one. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just have to do it to the bottom. And this is what I was talking about. This is not a very, you know, bad way of doing it. Inaccurate and stuff, but I'm sure there's a better way. So now we have a door. We can delete what was our cut thing. Then if we just move this door back, we can just stick it in there. Actually, the door's a little bit inset, so we can just do that. And then yeah, that's our door and door frame. And we can model all the door handle details stuff later. But next, actually, I'm just going to do the headlight. That's right above it. So that'll be easy enough if we just add a cylinder. Give it about 20 segments, vertices. And then bring that back. Then rotate that, which I just did RY90. It's a little shortcut. Basically, R is the just rotates it, and then if I did Y for the Y-axis and stuff like that, and then 90 for how many degrees. That's a little shortcut tip for people. But move that in. Go to edit mode. Scale this down if we just press S. I'm gonna move that down a little bit actually. Looking at it, needs to be, actually no, this is fine. Put that in. Move it over a little bit. Get into face select. Okay, I think I'm gonna, yeah, okay, moved it a little bit uneven. Oops, but yeah, that's good. And then scale it down just a little bit. Face select, jack that in, and then I do this for like a lot of my headlights. I just press I, just inset the face, and then we can extrude that out a little bit. I think that was a little bit too much. Yeah, that was definitely too much. And then Control B, bevel, scroll up to get some more segments, and then. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, that was way too much. Okay, Control B. Just do a little bit. Yeah, that's a lot better. And then if we do this, inset just a little bit, and then just extrude that back. And then... Obviously, we're going to make it rounder, or make it smoother by doing shade smooth, but... Yeah, I think that's good for now. So just go in here, and might as well just select the whole thing, shade it smooth, and then add our edge split modifier. And you can see it's not perfect, and probably could have added more segments to the actual cylinder, but it gets the job done. So, and sometimes you just, when you're looking at it, you just want to change it, and so that's what I'm doing right here. I just feel like it doesn't look right, so we're just gonna mess with it, and next time you see this, it may just be completely different. I don't know, but it's all just a matter of taste and stuff. So yeah, and obviously what's actually on locomotive. But anyways, now we can do the windows. That'll be easy enough. Just add a cube. Just see. Then what I'm going to do is, because remember we said our window was uneven. So, or not uneven, but it was split in half. So if we just bring that down, that up, do that, and then bevel the edge, or no, before we do that. So we said it was split in two, so select everything. scale that down about half, and then just double check we can do this. So that's still a little bit too big, so if we just scale it down a little bit more. And I think that was a little bit too much, maybe. So actually, I can just do that, and then alright, so that works. No, it doesn't. Okay. Sorry, this is taking me a while, but now that's that. So now we have the basic shape on there, and then we get our edge select these edges, because we're going to bevel those, and then scroll up. And actually, these are too wide, so what we're going to do, just bring those in, select the edges, and now we can do Control B. Looks good, so shade smooth, edge split. And then obviously we want to add our little inset for the what's it called? The thing I was talking about earlier. So this is what I was trying to achieve with the door. So that should be good, and then if we do this, we can we'll shift Control minus. Just look at that. Yeah, looks okay to me. And then apply that and just make sure it looks good. And that's yeah, so actually before we apply that, I'm gonna duplicate it and put it on the other side. Just trying to keep it even, so I'm making sure that they are the same. So do that, and now we can, and so that make it actually cut, because you can see since we just duplicated it, and basically what it does is once you duplicate this, it doesn't keep the modifier for the boolean on here, so you just have to do it again, Control minus, and now you have your two windows. And so now we can just go back to our locomotive and apply both of those. Delete these windows, or delete our cuts, and then go back into edit mode, go into our side view, and select the actual edge. Bring that out a little bit, and that's a thing that happens sometimes. And what you can do, since it looks like it's just split from the edge, we can just get our edge selector and then select all these edges. Just drag that out. About right there, it's fine. So now we can get our actual what's going to be the windows and just extrude that in. Might as well do the same as a door. So now you have that, which, you know, it is what it is on the locomotive, so I'm happy with that. Another thing, actually, I'm gonna make sure that the actual I don't even know what to call it, but you know, this what I have right here is the same as the same length or depth or width or whatever you can call it as the thing. We're just gonna do that and line it up, and actually, since it's inside the window a little bit, we'll just do that. That looks about right. So now we have all the basic details. There's a few other things that we need to do, but there's a lot of other things we need to do everywhere else. So we're just gonna do the windows on the sides now. So what we can do, go into object mode, get this diagram up, add a cube, and looking at my local picture reference photos, it's one big cut, and then there's just two windows inside that will slide in and out, and I might try and do that. And so what we can do is just get our get this for now and just cut a big hole there without having to worry about the window seal or anything. And that way, we can just model the actual window itself later on. Or just, well, we're gonna have to, but we can just do that later on. So now we can decide whether or not we want to animate it and have it so people can open and close the windows, which I think that's always a nice feature to have, so I'm going to do that. And then we're just going to have this go inside, do that to the other side, then go back out, Control minus, and that's your big cut in the window. You can see it's starting to get a little wonky because everything's all inside there, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter for now, just because we're gonna, you know, take the whole cab and duplicate it and just stick it inside once we're done, so that way we can just have an interior. So don't worry about what it looks like for now, so just do that Boolean cut. So now we can actually delete that. Now we have that. So now what we can do is the front window. So get our front diagram. Yeah, and then add another. And since this is actually has the window on it, we're just gonna add the window sill as well. I probably should have left these out, because I could have just duplicated that and adjusted it. That's what I normally like to do, but it is what it is. So we're just gonna move that back out and do this. Bring that down. Get our edge select so we can bevel again. All these, Control B. And then shade smooth, edge split. So now we have that window, and there's a door on this side actually, so we're gonna have to do that as well once we get to that side. And you can see everything's just a little bit off because, you know, the diagram is so, the lines are so thick and everything, so that's no problem. I'm actually going to go in here and raise up this a little bit and just see how much of a gap there is between the actual window and the top of the thing on my reference photos. And yeah, it's pretty tight there, so that should be good. I'm actually going to adjust this a little bit. And then if we add, now we have to add a little inset for that. And then since we already have one over here, I'm just going to do Shift C so I can see about how deep it is, to try and keep everything nice and even throughout. Do that, and then if we just bring that down all the way, Shift, Control minus, and now we have that window. And actually I gotta keep that, can't cut it all the way through because we have to keep our actual, the seal on there. So we'll just go over here, apply the bool tool, then excuse me, I'll be right back. Actually, I'll start recording once I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm back, just had to take a call, but so anyways, we have our modifier applied, so we're just going to go into edit mode, select the window, the end of it, so we can drag it out, get the, and once again it's doing the thing. And I actually think that's because we were applying the edge split modifier, and actually it shouldn't matter, so actually I'd recommend not applying the edge split modifier onto your cut thing, because that just, it's just better that way. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is edge select, get all the edges selected. Yeah, we're good. So check that out. About try and get it the same as what's on the other side. Alright, I'm happy with that. Just gotta do one last thing, and that's extrude it out. So not R, E, and drag that out. Now we have a window. So I'm actually not going to delete that. I'm going to save that and just save that for the door on this side. So actually, I think what I might do is just duplicate this door and just modify that. So if we do Shift D, and then we wouldn't even have to do any boolean stuff, so rotate it. Remember your shortcuts, you could also just do R something. R's, just remember R's for rotate, oh shoot. And then just do one of the axes, so like X, Y, or Z, and then whatever degree, so like 90 degrees or whatever. And actually, if we had our cut for the door, we could actually probably do that, but I think what we might do is just use this door, duplicate it, and then cut with that, and then also just have the door like we did before, kind of. So we're just gonna see how this goes. May or may not work. So get that lined up. I'm actually gonna hide this for a little bit. I'm just gonna line the windows up. No, I'm not. So I'm gonna go into edit mode and get all this side because we need to drag this in to about right there. And then drag that out a little bit. Yeah, that's actually perfect. So I'm also going to check on this. Yeah, okay, that's perfect. So now all we have to do, so we have our door. So now what we want to do is and we can delete this because we're not going to be cutting any more windows. Just do that, and then we're going to go to this. I'm actually just going to select this whole edge, all this around. Remember, that's Alt, and you can just do Shift, select multiple loops. So Shift D, bring that out. P, and that's just separates it by selection, so we can actually cut. And the way we're going to actually, yeah, all we can do is I'm going to hide this for a little bit. Use this to do a knife project. Just cut straight through it. So mesh. Knife project, and now we have that, so now we can just extrude that in by just pressing E or using the actual tool. And now we have a door frame. So now if we unhide that, we can just delete that and move that into place, and now we have a door there. So now we have all of our windows and stuff. So now we're going to try and get the, I don't even know what you want to call that, but I'm going to get that done. So at this point, I've shown you all the basic things you need for, let me just double check. Yeah, you got your cut and like boolean, and you have your second option in case the boolean doesn't work. That's the knife project. And then you have for like windows and stuff, you can do your window seal, you know how to get doors done, and that can apply to like a lot of things. So if you wanted to even like make the interior of the engine bay or whatever, you can do that too. Now with what I've taught you, I haven't taught you enough to actually animate yet, but we're gonna get into that later on. So yeah, I'm just gonna speed up my build. You can still watch it. I'm just gonna speed it up so you don't have to, because then the video would just be way too long. So I'm just gonna cut this off and get back into time lapse. So I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Hello and welcome to the time lapse. And the reason I had to do a time lapse in the first place is because everything just takes so long. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna be watching here, and I'm just gonna be trying to explain to my best ability what's actually going on. So right here I'm trying to do the thing I've been talking about for so long, this little step I guess you'd call it, and all I did there was do the loop cut and bevel, kind of like how we did the nose. Then I'm just adding 2 loop cuts, making sure they're even and everything, and then we'll be extruding that out. And then this is when Blender crashed, so I'm just trying to get back on Blender, so this might take a little bit, but yeah, okay, so you can see now we're back, so now I'm having to do it all over again. And so now right here what I'm doing is I decide that the one that I'm modeling actually has like a different what I'm modeling, it has a different style of it. It's actually like curved and stuff. So what I'm doing here is just I probably should have just made it so I did one side and then just flipped it and mirrored it to the other side. But and that's what I do in the end. It's just right here for some reason I decided that I was going to do it for both sides. But we get it figured out. And so, see, I'd have to mess with it a lot, but we get it eventually, and it's not perfect. I might just like I might have to redo it or something, but this is what you'll see what we ended up doing. But yeah, I also paused a lot because there was a lot of other stuff going on, so sorry about that. But I'll try and keep it interesting, even though that's very hard for me to do because, you know, I suck at explaining things, but we'll do our best. So right here, I'm just adding the loop cut, and what I'm trying to do is get it to the right place so like I can bevel it, because you know, you can see how that adds that curve, but you can see them right at this point right here. I just like, I know I'm gonna have to redo that, so I'm just gonna mess around with it and see what I can do. And you can see I get because you can see how the loop cut there is kind of like all skewed and stuff, and so we're just gonna, oh, that's some lightning and thunder, but anyways. So you can see right there, I got it to almost, I think we're getting close to what I'm eventually doing. But you can see it's a lot of trial and error, so don't feel bad if it takes you a while to get the result you want. But all I did there was a loop cut and put it right next to where the actual cut is, and then what that allows me to do is move everything. Basically, I'm extruding it in. I basically just did what the extrude would do, but if you did it with an excuse me, if you did it with the extrude, it just wouldn't work right. You can, you know, try it out yourself. And I just moved everything down so it'd be easier to merge, but yeah, as you can see, I'm just merging everything. And the way you do that is select two things, so select two vertices, and then just press M, and then do whatever. So like if you can do at first, so merge the thing you clicked last to what you clicked first, and then you can do merge it last. Then you can do merge to center, which just merges everything into the center of the stuff you selected. So then I'm pausing again because there's just a lot of stuff happening. I'm sorry about that, but then we go back to this, and I'm just trying to line it up, and this is a very bad way of doing it. So, but you can see this is what I'm talking about. I'm moving it. I'm just gonna flip it right here, grabbing everything, make sure I don't have anything selected that I don't want selected, and then copy and paste that. Or actually, I duplicated it. You can't copy and paste in edit mode, but Shift-E mirrored it. So if you go to mesh and then mirror, and then you do whatever axis you want to mirror it on, and whenever you do that, for some reason it flips the and you see right here, I'm just trying to mess with it, ends up looking basically the same. But anyways, if you once you mirror, it flips the faces, so you have to be careful of that, and you have to go back into the mesh, and there's another option that allows you to flip it. But if you have a flipped face, then it makes things weird, so you just have to make sure you don't have any flipped, or it's actually called normals, so flipped normals. Just have to make sure you don't have any flipped normals, because that's bad. So anyways, back to what I'm doing. I just beveled the end because that was what it was like in real life. So right there, right here, I'm about to model the I think these are just the exhausts, but so I just get a cylinder, I turn down the vertices, and you know, once again, I'm pausing. I really wish I could edit it out, but there's just so many that it's hard. But then I rotate it, get it aligned with the roof, and just move into place. And then I think it has a different kind of exhaust on the diagram, but you know, you can see it's so hard to tell because it's such a low quality diagram. But nice shade smooth, edge split. And then these are some nice shortcuts that I use a lot for other things. I just did I for inset faces, and then I did E, yeah, E to extrude, and then I did another I, and you know, I extruded out a little bit, you can see, and then I did I to inset another face, and then just extruded it down, so you can see the inside there. Once again, I paused. I'm really sorry about all these pauses, but anyways, so those are just some nice helpful tips. A lot of the shortcuts in Blender, you know, they start with the letter that, you know, I actually start with. So like R is for rotate, E is for extrude, B is for bevel, V is for vertices, so you can go to vertex menu, E, or I think it's Control E is actually for like edge. There's an edge menu. I'm sure there's a face menu. I haven't really seen that yet, but and then, you know, just a bunch of stuff like that. But now you can see I had to duplicate that, and I made sure to flip normals back, and then it's gonna be pause, but I think, yeah, no, he still has some time. What are you doing, OB? Alright, sorry, that's just my dog, but you can see I check and make sure there are no flipped normals, and you can see when the normal's flipped, it's red, and if everything's blue, then you're fine. But now I'm just about to add the grill. Yeah, I think this is the grill. Yeah. So I'm getting ready to do a excuse me, a knife cut, or I forget what it's called, knife project, something like that. You'll see me do that, but I'm just getting it set up here, and I'm gonna just extrude everything out and then extrude back in, kind of like how I do with the exhaust a little bit. And then I just add a bunch of cubes for the actual big C and set there, and just get everything ready. But just duplicating and putting on the other side. But yeah, you can see that. But once we do that, we're gonna just extrude. We're not extrude. We're gonna move it back out, kind of like we did on the windowsill, and then we're just gonna extrude in whatever we need. Except it's, you know, it's obviously not a window, so we're not gonna do that much. Just as much as we need to fit the actual grill on there, which you'll see. You can see in the thumbnail. But see, I just scaled that out to make sure everything was even, and then just did that. And and then I selected both of those things, extrude them in, then extrude in the actual thing. Because if you look on the prototype photos, you can see how it does that. Like I said, I'm very bad at explaining things, so. But yeah, we're done with that, and then you can see I just add in all of these, all the grills. Mainly I just duplicate them a lot, but. But move that over, bring that out, make sure it rotate a little bit, and then I just duplicate that a whole bunch once I get back, yeah. And I just hold control so it snaps and it's all in the same position. Then I just grab 3, duplicate that, grab 3, then grab 6, then just keep doing that. Then eventually I have to grab, and then just once I have all these, I just grab all of them, duplicate them, and then I just do the same thing for the other side. Just grab all of those. And then just grab all, move them in a little bit because they were sticking out a little too much, and then bring that to the other side. And just always check your normals. That's one thing that you should do. But then I think I skipped the number boards, but that's fine. All that was me putting cube in, insetting a face, and then just extruding it in. So then right here I'm just doing the headlight. And then right here we're about to hollow out the cab, so you can see I would have what I need to try and do, I always forget, but duplicate the cab before you start adding windows and details and stuff like that, so that way you can just scale it down and then just boolean out the inside of the cab. You can see here I'm just trying to get the roof, and give me a little trouble, but just had to manually move everything, which kind of sucks, which is why it's nice to be able to just duplicate the cab, which I've actually not managed to do. I've never done that before, but I know I need to do it because it's simple. But right here I'm just trying to get everything to the right thickness and everything, but then I control minus obviously, and then I'm moving it above the edge split modifier, because sometimes if you have things like you have to you know, move your modifiers, because depending on what modifiers you have, it can affect your bool tool, or really just anything. So you just have to be careful with that. And here I'm adding a door. I just did a simple knife project with a cube. And the reason I do that instead of just adding cube on the front is because when you UV map, it's a lot easier to because if you have a cube, you'd have to map that separately. But if you have, you know, an actual thing just extruded from the locomotive, it's a lot easier to map that, and that just means it's a lot easier to texture. So now we're just adding the excuse me, windows, and the way I'm actually going to try and figure out a new way to add glass, but we don't do that in this video anyways. And then right there I'm just scaling it down, trying to get it so they match on both sides, and then I just do a, I think I use a bool tool here, but yeah, you can see just beveling the edges a little bit, and then I grab another cube for the actual cutout of the window, and just getting that scaled in, and then that's almost all of it, but we'll see once we I had actually just kind of just messed with it a little bit, but I'm about done here, so yep, see you at the end of the video. Actually not quite, but yeah, I just had to mess with this a little bit, and I hope you enjoyed the time lapse, and yeah, see you at the end of the video. Hello and welcome back to this video. That's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. As you can see, I did a few things off camera just because it was really weird, but stuff just didn't work out. But you can just see most of it was in there. I really did have trouble with these little, I don't know what you want to call those, but I think it's for the sanders, or filling up the sand, but I don't know. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was a help to you, and if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share with a friend. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can comment down below or join my Discord, link in the description. So anyways, see you in the next video.